Well, are you ready for a little unindoctrination? I shouldn't say a little because we never bring you a little, we bring you a lot. But I hope that you are ready for some unindoctrination. And we are here to bring it to you wall to wall, treetop tall, coast to coast, and border to border. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Nice to have you here with us today. We appreciate you being here today. And we've got a little bit of a different type of show today. Usually they're very serious. They're very hardcore. And this is serious and hardcore. But it's a little bit of a lighter topic. We're talking about the movie Jeepers Creepers. And I hate to even give it any publicity because it's just a terrible piece of trash, all three of them. In fact, I remember it came out before I was even in this genre. I was still at the end of my Jeebus jaunt. And I was watching it in Laughlin, Nevada with my buddy who was producing a show there. And it was so bad at the hotel there. We got to see the movies for free, but it was so bad that I got up and walked out. It was horrible, terrible, worst piece of crap I've ever seen. And one of our great subscribers sent me a little note that said, hey, did you know, I don't know why, did you know that the Jeepers Creepers movies are about Jeebus? HERU, DISTU. You have questions about what words mean, look in the box below. But yeah, the guy that is the star of the Bible movie was the star of this movie. It's just unbeknownst to you. So let's jump right into this and remind you it's Mystech all the way, baby. These bracelets keep you, your subtle body, your spirit body in harmony, not in chaos. They keep your blood in harmony, not in chaos, and they keep the EMFs down. Good stuff. I didn't watch the movies, but I did study them, so I know a lot about the plots now, and we're going to talk about it. They were actually about Jeebus, and this is the first one right here, Jeepers Creepers. This is the lead character, and let's get right into it. Jeepers Creepers was a 2001 horror film. A 2001 horror film written and directed by a guy named Victor Salva, and we're going to talk about him. There were two sequels. One was number 2. It happened in 2003. You can see he's on a cross. And then the third one, no, they're not worth the watch. Don't watch them. They're terrible. And the third one came out in 2017. So the first thing I think we should talk about is this piece of shit that made the movies. Victor Ronald Salva is an American filmmaker and convicted sex offender. You heard me right. He's best known for directing the films Powder in 1995 with Disney. Disney hiring a child predator, convicted child predator, to direct a movie for them, and the movie Jeepers Creepers. The latter of these has been expanded into a franchise with 2 sequels that he also directed. Convicted sex offender, Victor Salva. His ongoing career in filmmaking became controversial after his 1988 conviction for charges relating to sexual abuse of a 12-year-old male actor who was starring in one of his films. And this is what a great guy he was. Not only was he having a relationship, not only was he sexually abusing a 12-year-old boy who was working for him, he also videotaped himself in the act of doing it. And not only that, he possessed commercial videotapes in magazines containing child pornography. And only 7 years later, he's making movies for Disney. Isn't that great? Now watch this. In 88, he's convicted of sexual misconduct. Who was 12, and the guy videotaped the encounters. He was found possessing child pornography. He pleaded guilty to lewd and lascivious conduct, oral sex with a person under 14. What kind of, is that even I guess it's a law. It's crazy. And procuring a child for pornography. He was sentenced to 3 years. There's people sitting in jail right now, 10, 15, 20 years, over a little bit of pot. Now, I'm not down with the pot, but this is ridiculous. He was sentenced to 3 years, and he served 15 months. He made his first big studio picture, Powder, in 1995. At the time of the film's release, his conviction became well known because the victim came forward and called for the film's boycott. And here's what Disney said. Disney hired this guy to make a movie knowing that he was a convicted child rapist. Disney says, well, we didn't know about his crime until after the production of the movie had begun. Let's just say that's true. They didn't know that he was a kitty bugger until they started production. Well, then stop production. Cease the movie. But no, they went ahead and made it. The reality is they knew from the jump who he was. And that's probably one of the reasons they hired him, because it's all one big club. And thank God I ain't in it. And as Cynthia says, that is criminal in itself. So that's the guy that made the movies. And I put this in there, and I know I shouldn't, but Saul of his family disowned him at 18 when he came out as gay. Now, the reason I put that in there is because we are told by the militant LGBTQ movement, and I don't care if you're LGBTQ, I don't think it's great for your spirituality, but you've got as much rights as the rest of us, but you don't have the right to make us normalize what you do. So we're not against you. We're not trying to lock you up or segregate you, but we're still not going to admit that what you do is right. And this lie goes around that, oh, well, gay people never, ever do child molestation. It has nothing to do. One has nothing to do with the other. Well, this guy was banging a 12-year-old boy, and he's gay. For the record. Okay. And Jeepers Creepers, guys, he makes this movie well after being convicted, and it breaks the Labor Day release box office. It made so much money. Then he puts out the second one, and it breaks those records. This guy is swimming in money. Jeepers 3, I guess it wasn't so great. But let's talk about the movie. A brother and sister traveling home from college for spring break. This old rusty truck drives around them erratically. Vehicle passes them. They see the guy parked next to an abandoned church. Sliding bloody dead bodies into the church. They watched him. He saw him. He attempts to run them off the road, the creeper guy. After escaping, they go back to the church. They investigate. Dude falls in. He sees a bunch of bodies down there eaten on and then sewn together to make the walls and the ceiling. They get a phone call from a weird lady. Tells them that they're in a bad place. They ignore her warning. I'm here telling you right now, if you're a Christian, you're in a dangerous, bad place. Get out. If you're any part of the cross, if you got anything to do with Jebus, father, son, mother, sister, brother, you got anything to do with the AHAK, the B-BLE, if you got anything to do with carrying your cross, if you got anything to do with salvation, if you got anything to do with atonement, you're in a bad place. It's a filthy, dirty, rotten, scary place, and you need to get out of it. They ignored her warning. Will you ignore mine? They leave. 2 police officers. The police officers learn the church has been destroyed. All the bodies and the evidence are gone. The police get attacked, and they see the guy, or at least we see the guy, the creeper guy again, loading their bodies into his truck. And we'll talk about that truck at the very, very end. Then this psychic comes up and tells them who she is, tells them that this creature is known as the creeper. And he awakens every 23rd spring for 23 days to feast on human body parts, which then form parts of his own body. He feasts on human body parts, which then form parts of his own body. And he can smell your fear, and that's how he tracks you down. So the wounded creeper gets to the police station, gets in the police station, eats all the prisoners, gets healed, and then he corners the heroes, the girl and the guy. And he takes the guy and leaves the girl. And in the new hideout, we find out that the creeper's taken the guy's eyes. And in the post-credit scene, the creeper drives his truck into the sunset and honks its horn, laughing at you all the way. So, how's this about Jesus, Jeff? Well, you ready? The creeper gathers bodies in a church every single Sunday, twice on Sunday, usually on Wednesday, and if you're Roman Catholic, every day, they gather bodies. Jesus, I said it, gathers bodies in his church. The creeper is ancient, without beginning or end, we're told. And in Revelation 1:8, plastic HERU says, I'm the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last. I've got no beginning. I've got no end, just like that creeper. HERU DISTU is also identified with the Ancient of Days. This creeper comes back every 23rd spring. Easter's in the spring. And Psalms 23 has the shepherd who keeps the sheep to eat. Like those two, I'm warning you, will you ignore it? And if you notice, the creature eats bodies, eats people, just like HERU DISTU's eating you, and then they become part of his body. It's the same way with HERU. Romans 12:5 says, many are one body. In Christ, we are one body. We are many who's one body, just like the Jeeper Creeper movie. All these body parts come to make up him. Same exact thing in church. And in case you missed it, the false Apostle Paul then says, you're the body of Christ. And each of you is a member of it, a separate member of it in the original Hebrew. Same exact thing. He smells and tracks you through fear. And Jebus makes a list, checks it twice. He knows if you're naughty or nice. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. And he's got the Lamb's Book of Life, so you better be good for goodness sake. He feeds on your fear too. And the creature spurns women and takes the man. He didn't want the pretty girl. He wanted the dude, because women are worthless in the Christian economy. That's got Pauline theology all over it. Then he raptured the guy. One is taken, one is left. And in the sequel, the creature is crucified and also speared in the side. The creature is crucified and speared in the side. In the second movie, you saw the movie poster for it. Now, in the third movie, it really gets interesting. And I got the picture here of that because I want to show it to you, because it's full of imagery that I want you to see and know and understand. I think that's about as good as I'm going to be able to get it. Let's see if I can do it this. What if I do it like this? Yeah, that's not going to help. Let's look at the third picture. This is the third movie, and there's a couple things I want to point out to you. And it's not going to be a perfect share, but hey, I want you to notice that he's wearing a cowboy hat and a red shirt, and he has an axe. He's wearing a cowboy hat, he's got a red shirt, and he's got an axe. Okay? So let me show this to you again so you can see it and know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to try to share them simultaneously because it's just beyond my technological grasp right at the moment. Come on. Here we go. So, you should be seeing this now. Here he is. Let's see if I can make it any bigger. You can see he's got a red shirt on. You can see if I back out, he's got a cowboy hat on. And you can see all of his people back here, all of his army there is following him. So just to set the stage for what I wanted to share with you here, as far as relating to the movie. In the third movie, he also goes about as a roaring lion. walking about roaring like a lion. And that should remind you 1 Peter 5:8. He's also wearing a cowboy hat and a red shirt, and he has that axe. Now, if we look in Revelation chapter 19, somebody comes on a white horse. Who wears horses? I mean, who rides horses? Cowboys. What kind of hats do cowboys ride? What kind of hats do cowboys wear? Cowboy hats. The cowboy hat is an allusion to being the white horse rider. Stay with me. Who rides horses? Cowboys. Who wears cowboy hats? Cowboys. And he was wearing a garment dipped in blood. What color's blood? Red. What color's his shirt? Red. And it's never explained in the movie. And Plastic Jeebus had a sharp sword with him that he should smite the nations. And Jeeber Creeper, he's got a sharp axe with him to smite the nations. And in Revelation, the armies of Plastic Jesus followed. And in the movie poster, all of those birds, his army, followed him. It's the same thing. It's about Jesus. And here's the best part. In my opinion, here's the best part. Kind of morbid, but it's the best part. And I'm glad that I've got the fluffy high consciousness field because it helps me get through this. And you should go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the fluffy logo, take advantage of it too. The truck that he uses, and this was something that came to me after I was almost done with this. I said, hey, wait a minute. I remembered something, and then I thought, and sure enough, the truck that the Creeper drives is a Chevrolet heavy duty. It's a very large and rusted 1941 Chevy heavy duty cab over engine delivery truck owned by the Creeper in the Jeeper Creeper movie franchise. It's equipped with a cow catcher, which he uses to transport bodies, dead or alive, to his house of pain. So why did this remind me of something? And what did it remind me of? This will show you how my mind works to a degree. And I'm a little bit embarrassed, but hey, I'm not really. So this is what I was thinking of, what made me go to that. How many of you remember this? You've heard the song, The Old Rugged Cross? How many of you remember this? On a hill far away stood an old Chevrolet, its tires all tattered and torn. And I said that day to that old Chevrolet, I'll trade you someday for a Ford. Old Rugged Cross, old Chevrolet. They know, folks. They know. And they just don't want us to know that they know. This is just a silly example, an example that borders on the ridiculous, but it's another example of them knowing and them understanding and them rubbing it in our faces. It had to be a Chevrolet. And it was, because somebody knows that song, probably the creepy child molester that made the movie. There's just so many things wrong with this guy making movies, these movies making big money, this guy making movies with Disney. There's just so much wrong with this whole thing. And the fact that we can't see these things right in front of us is really a very poor commentary on our discernibility and knowing what's going on in this world. So, to the chat room real quickly. Somebody was thinking about this movie yesterday, which is really weird. They do hide the truth under our noses. The Matrix is mocking. And I got news for you. The Matrix movie, and I'm going to prove this too. All of us love The Matrix. Everybody knows The Matrix is a great woke movie. The Matrix is a LEMISH con. And I can't wait to show you that. I can't wait to show you that. Tracy, again, proving she's the smartest one here. She's never heard of the movie. I don't think Cynthia had either. The movies were gross. Again, I walked out of it. It was terrible. Another hack and slash. Hell no, they're not, Lydia. Don't waste your time. Lydia has a very, very smart husband, by the way. Very, very smart husband. Disney, there you go. Absolutely no surprise. Sounds about right with Disney. So sick, not surprising. Greetings from Joe King. Joe King says hi. Boycott Disney. And you know what? I learned so much lately. Disney started out being a very pro-American, very proud, honorable company. And then they did something that made the wrong people mad, and the wrong people turned on them and have been turned on them ever since, and now I've taken them over. That more later. Cynthia says just this whole thing is criminal. Absolutely. That evil creates most of the rest of evil, death penalty. You know what? I'm with you on that. Normally, I'm not that way, but for child molestation and where would you draw the line? Digital penetration, penal penetration. Whenever you sexually abuse a kid, yeah, I'm sorry. Because the fact of the matter is the recidivism is over 90%. Only if they're castrated. If they get castrated, it drops down to 20, 30%, but that's still too much. You know what? Death penalty, bye-bye, it's over. Just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. And I have no problem saying that. No problem saying that whatsoever. This is interesting. Really, Jonathan? Okay, bro. Nice to see you here. We appreciate you. The Gangsta. Yep. Where'd you get those peepers? That was actually the song in the movie. Let's see what else. All of this hidden in plain sight. Nothing's ever hidden anymore. It really is. It's terrible. It's terrible. The robe had the look of the Bible look too. Yeah, I agree. It did. Oh, horrible, horrible. And this is true. The whole Jeepers Creepers, Jeebus Creepus. It's kind of a euphemism for the guy. Yeah, that's a chick magnet of a truck. Absolutely. Jeepus Creepus. You're exactly right there, Dustin. Oh man, just crazy. Mark says he has that truck. I hope you don't have that truck, Mark. You're not like a collector or anything, are you? Mark says he's got that truck. I lost your comment, Mark. Sorry. Get rid of them. I absolutely agree that. And it's been seconded. Does the motion carry? Let all in favor say aye. Aye. Boom. There we go. It was never hidden. We've just gotten closer. Fair enough. Fair enough. So there you go, folks. The movie was about Jeebus Creepus. And he is a creep. And he is building a church on dead, bloody bodies. And you're part of it if you're a Christian. I've warned you. They didn't walk away. It's just another JC. Are you going to walk away now that you've been warned yet again? And Jonathan, did you watch the show earlier today about John Calvin? You got to watch that one. I don't know how you can watch that, another JC, by the way, and still be a Christian after watching that. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, shining light into the dark corners of orthodoxy and watching the roaches run. For Tracy Dyer and the rest of our great moderators, and for, whoops, what did I see? I saw something up there that I missed. Oh, the dad, the husband. And for the lovely Cynthia, I salute you for being here, seeking after truth. I remind you that you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. We are the last generation of real humans. Let's unindoctrinate ourselves and let's get busy.